Let's see here. It was a weird week for comics. We have a lot of really crappy news this week centering around DC Comics. It turns out, well, the overlords at AT&T, we should just call them Apocalypse. The gods of Apocalypse at AT&T have decided to lay off, I should just say fire, have decided to lay off a giant portion of DC's writers, editors, and artists. Really amazing ones. Jim Lee is on that list. Jim Lee is on that list. It's weird. Carl, come pick up your books, man. But so yeah, we lost. I don't know how many people are over at DC. They got laid off. My best guess is maybe this is just COVID, like just trying to survive COVID. Could be. I mean, we know that they rebranded, they moved over to Lunar, and they've retooled all that other stuff, and we've got a lot less titles now because of it. Maybe something's planned. I don't know. I don't have. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. On the one hand, I think that this is just to survive the whole COVID fiasco. On the other hand, let me fix Twitch. Twitch is going crazy. On the other hand, part of me is just kind of feeling like this is DC making poor decisions. Not DC, AT&T making poor decisions. It could be all of the above. I would hope that before sinking the brand, that AT&T would look to sell. Throw that shit up for sale, man. Sell it to Disney, please. Please save the brand somehow. Even if you sold it to Disney, like Disney is pretty good about letting brands keep who they are. Like they bought Marvel, and Marvel is still Marvel. They haven't like changed it or anything. Sell it to somebody else before you run it into the ground.
The other thing on Six Flags, who has all the rides and everything too.
I have no idea. AT&T, what the fuck? Right. That's me being nice, but I'm clearly never gonna own an AT&T phone. I'll tell you that. I'm pretty salty about this whole thing. Thanks for the subs, Tyler. Thank you much, man. The shop's going okay, except for DC Comics is suffering right now. We're kind of and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to do the review for this week's DC Comics titles. We don't have a lot. I skipped Batman and the Outsiders, and I skipped Batman's Grave, which is weird because I don't tend to skip Batman titles, but those two in particular have not been my jam. Very strange. The signal is in Batman and the Outsiders, and I don't like that book at all. It felt bad because like I was reviewing it, and it was like every week I was just like slamming that book every single week, and so eventually I was like, I'm just done with it. So clearly, it's not my jam. Let's get into it. We're of course going to talk about the biggest elephant in the room this week, which is Dark Knight's Death Metal, and my God. My God, Snyder, my God, man. There is so much to unpack here. There's so much good. I mean, just when you think that they can't do things any more metal, like Snyder has Harley wielding Swamp Thing's head on the end of a mallet, and
how do you even do that?
The turn of events in this are great. Remember that Batman's currently running around with a Black Lantern ring, which is all types of messed up. Like, he shouldn't be running around with a Black Lantern ring, period, because like his skull was the source of the Black Lantern rings in the original Blackest Night. So that's fucked. there is so much twisted stuff. This current issue has the Batman hanging out with not hanging out, but dealing with a Batman that has bonded with Darkseid. His name is Darkfather. That's twisted. About to start streaming again. You should join us on Sea of Thieves when you get home. I will do that when I get home, for sure. So yeah, there's all types of messed up stuff. There's other stuff that I have huge questions about. Of all the Batman I've seen, I'm pretty sure I just witnessed a Batman in this issue that is bound with atrocities. So he has his own Red Lantern thing in the shape of a bat. It is literally the Red Lantern symbol with a bat on his chest. I love that. I absolutely love that. I don't know why we aren't getting that story, and instead, with the current Dark Knights, we're getting B-Rex.
Yeah.
The Dark Knights Legends installment was not as good as the last metal event. Yeah, it's nowhere near as good. But this issue, you do get some really, really wicked. I'm talking super wicked versions of Batman. On top of that, you get a hell of a story, and I'd honestly argue that Wonder Woman's monologue at the end of this particular issue might be one of the best monologues I've ever heard in comics history. It's pretty inspiring. Like it really hit home. So you absolutely 100% across the board need to check out Dark Knight's Death Metal issue number 3. You won't be able to get the mainline title from us if you are not subscribed to this issue. So I should be showing it on this side, so Twitch sees it. If you're not subscribed to this particular issue, you're not getting it from us, at least for the main line. We have a couple variants, so you're going to need to check out our website and order them as quick as possible, or you're not getting it at all. And this issue in particular, wow. I mean, I've said that about all of them. I think the first issue was amazing. There's like a fly going around in here. The first issue was amazing. The second issue was pretty good. This one is mind-blowing. Come pick it up. It's so good. And what they're planning on doing is pretty wicked for DC. Almost as wicked as the end of the last metal event. So Snyder really does pull up all the stops. It's amazing. What's up, Alex? Haven't seen you in forever, man. Let's see. Justice League Odyssey, issue number 23. Let me show it on this side. If you haven't been following this, well, there's been a lot of twists and turns, but it's basically Darkseid has taken control of most of Justice League Odyssey and has turned all of them into versions of, well, gods for Apocalypse. Meanwhile, Jessica Cruz didn't fit his plan. He tried to kill her, and instead her ring is now embedded in her, like in shards, which you're not supposed to be able to break a ring. And now she can fire Omega Beams herself, so she's pretty powerful. And they're sort of dealing with it. They've unleashed an Escatan, which is like the giant killer, I guess, robots that target gods of Apocalypse. And that thing is trying to kill Darkseid, and you get all of that in this issue. It's good. It's pretty good. The twists and turns are not... I don't know. Maybe I'm just spoiled with Snyder's twists and turns on everything Justice League. But the twists and turns were not mind-blowing in this. It's still pretty good. I do have sad news, though. One of the many victims of the current DC cut for both writers, artists, and books is Justice League Odyssey. So we're gonna get, I believe, at least one more issue, maybe two, and then that's the end of it. So yeah, come pick it up. It might be a collector's edition, not this one in particular, because it's folded for whatever reason.
One thing that got messed up.
We got one messed up book, as opposed to Diamond Comics, which gets we get 20 messed up books every shipment. So really, I want DC to survive this. I want DC to make this work, because honestly, it's a huge thumb in Diamond's eye, and I kind of think Diamond needs this thumb in their eye so that they get their shit together and we stop getting fucked up shipments and messed up books.
Double
and
orders,
yeah,
random books,
random orders, a billion direct shipments that we didn't bill, but we're gonna get charged for. Diamond does everything wrong and makes comic shop owners angry, and we want to just provide comics to the rest of you without being stressed, and Lunar is doing everything right. So please support DC Comics and help pull AT&T's head out of their butt.
Yes. By Dark Knight's Metal.
By Dark Knight's Metal. Buy all of these DC books. I've been buying all DC. Yeah, all DC, man. All DC. For this particular one, I can come and pick up my books. I'll come by Thursday or Friday, I'll call ahead. Please do, Carl, because Carl, I got to tell you, we're putting an ultimatum. If you don't come by Sunday, we're gonna put your books out, and that's not just you. We're doing that across the board for pretty much everyone who's got a box that's over $100. I think
Oh,
over 50 bucks. It's just because we can't keep paying like subscriber costs if subscribers aren't buying their books. So that's the way it is, man. So Sunday is your big. You're big. You got to come get your books, Carl. We love you, man, and we'd love to be your comic shop forever if you let us. But you got to come pick up your books.
You gotta stay open.
You want DC to survive? I want DC to survive. My favorite books are DC. My favorite comics are DC. I don't think I've hid this from anyone. I'm the biggest DC fanboy there is. Marvel's okay.
Says the guy with the Larfleeze hat.
See, Marvel's okay, but DC is for sure my jam. So I want them to survive this desperately. Next, we have, well, according to Entertainment Weekly, Superhero of the Year. And that, of course, is Superman 24 at the mercy of fate. I don't know if I'd call Bendis' run Superhero of the Year. Wouldn't be my take.
Opinion or King? Yeah.
Yeah. That would be my jam. But I will tell you, as far as this particular issue of Superman is concerned, he's sort of dealing with a new monster called Xanadu.
Oh.
Xanadu? Not Xanadu or Xanada, which confuses. They comment on that. Xanadu or something. It's a stupid name. Apparently it's the OG Order of Chaos that nobody ever knew existed until this issue, because there's always an OG. So he's dealing with that. And if you know anything about Superman's mythos, you obviously know that he has two major weaknesses. One is kryptonite and the other is magic. So this is actually a pretty good fight. It does set some stage for some other good stuff. And we get to see the new Dr. Fate belt out, which I like this new kid. He's pretty good. So I'm having a good time with this. I will say that as far as the Superman issues are concerned, I have been overly critical, mostly of Action Comics, but some of Superman. And this one in particular actually was pretty darn good. So if you've been waiting to jump in on Superman, I would say this is a pretty good jumping off point. I don't think you'll be too confused if you waited a couple issues, and I think you will have a good time. The art is... Well, let's see. The artist, just so you know, it's Bendis, McGuire, Timson, Sinclair. The art is pretty darn good. I honestly have little to complain about. And this new villain's kind of cool, too. So, yeah, it's basically a Lords of Chaos version of Dr. Fate is the new villain, pretty much. Nothing to complain about. Having a good time with this completely. I'd say come check it out for sure. Next is book... Well, it's issue 759. Why did they go back to the legacy numbers for the Flash?
Because they're about to hit the big 8-0.
Oh, that's what it is. Big 800. It just seems weird that they would dip back to the legacy numbers on the Flash, but not anything else.
That's very true.
Right? Did they dip back to the legacy numbers on Wonder Woman?
Oh,
they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maybe they have
the
been.
80th.
Yeah, maybe they have been dipping back to the legacy numbers. I wish they would just keep doing this. Like, I get it, new fans just don't understand. Like we've had new fans in the store, and they've all, like, we've seen kids that were like, I want to buy this comic, and their mom's like, oh no, you need to get issue number 1, and it's like, well, the kid is holding Detective Comics, so if he has issue number 1, he's gonna be a billionaire, a millionaire, like. I never get this mentality, but somewhere, like, it just has to do with books. Like, that's what it is. Casual fans who are adults, they mostly know books, and because of it, they always start on book number 1 in stories and trilogy stories, legacies, whatever. They always start at book number 1, and that makes sense for books, because you're probably, unless you're reading like Jim Butcher, you're probably not reading like or Pierce Anthony. You're not reading millions of books to start at the beginning. But with comics, it's different. You need a good jumping off point. That's what comics needs. Comics, we've discussed this before. What comics really needs is they need a symbol that represents good jumping off point. And you put that on whatever issue you think is a good jumping off point, and get the public to recognize that symbol. And then they'll learn that, oh, you don't need to be on issue number 1. You need a good jumping off point. And then we can get legacy numbers, and we don't need to like relaunch Spider-Man 1,000,000 times.
Yes. Guardians.
Yeah. We Guardians, Champions. There's always a new number one. Every year is like a new champion's number one, right? So yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. Like, please, comic industry, listen to this. Please. Wow, we're getting weird latency. We have 7 viewers on YouTube right now. That's wild. Thank you. And 1 viewer on Twitch, but thank you too. So we're going to talk about The Flash, issue number 759. Now, issue 759, The Flash for me has never been my favorite hero. That doesn't mean that I haven't liked The Flash. He's just never been my jam or something that I've really gotten into reading. This issue, though, is phenomenal. So The Flash is dealing with the Legion of Zoom. Hate the name. Hate the name because that's the Legion of Doom, but with a Z. The name is dumb. It's stupid. So The Flash is dealing with the Legion of Zoom, and he's possessed by Eobard Thawne, which, whenever something like that happens, he's going to be worse. Eobard Thawne's going to be like, I could be the best Flash ever, blah, 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 and he's going to fuck it up, and that's pretty much what happens here. But, huge but, we get to see Impulse kick some butt in this, and that felt really good. I gotta tell you, seeing Impulse belt out, like we've seen it a couple times with Young Justice, but I really love Impulse as a character, and the ending of this particular issue is so good. It's such a good ending.
I want to read this.
Oh man, like that's awesome. That's the other thing. Let's go back real fast. So this issue, if you're a Flash fan, you will be so happy with this issue. And granted, I'm holding the variant. I'm holding the B cover. But if you are a new to Flash, or you want to jump in on Flash, again, probably a pretty good jumping off point. I hadn't read the last issue of Flash and wasn't confused and had a really good time with this particular issue. So I would say snatch this one up if you can. Let's go back real fast to Dark Knight's Death Metal, because talking about the Flash clued me in. Yeah. There is a really, really awesome and kind of touching scene between the Flashes when they come to a conclusion of what they must do, which if you know Flash, it's really no surprise. But that scene in particular, again, Snyder does, like, he really, really knows his audience and he knows what we want. Because there were 3 or 4 points in this particular issue where I was like, oh yeah, like that's exactly what I wanted, and that's hella what I wanted, and like every single character is doing exactly what I need. Oh, and a character very dear to my heart will reappear.
Yes.
One of the Robins.
Yes. Will
reappear in this issue.
One of the greatest Robins.
One of the greatest, maybe the greatest Robin will reappear in this issue. If you know why there's a smile on my face, you know who it is.
I screamed.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about it. We haven't seen him in a while. Not since Drowned Earth. It's been not since Drowned Earth. Yeah. It's good. Okay. Enough gushing about Dark Knight's Death Metal. It's so good, though. Snyder, man.
Yeah, right.
Snyder.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's so weird, though. Because Zack Snyder got on my nerves for all his, release the Snyder Cut stuff. Yeah. And so it was like we'd talk about Scott Snyder, and we'd be like, yeah, Snyder. Yeah, Scott Snyder. But then we'd be like, Zack Snyder. What the fuck, man? And now the Snyder Cut's coming out, so maybe he's gonna be redeemed. I don't know. So we had the good Snyder and the other Snyder. But okay, Scott Snyder. Everything Scott Snyder touches just glistens and glows and turns. Scott. Okay, look. Okay, Jeff Johns with Green Lantern. The way he touched, whatever Jeff Johns. Whenever he touches something that's related to the Green Lantern, it turns to gold. It shines brightly. It levels up 50 levels, and everyone there's a wind rolling through the room. Yeah. Everyone is suddenly feels empowered. Yeah. There's a monologue by Tyler Durden going on. Everything glorious. Whenever Jeff Johns touches Green Lantern, that's what happens. It's the same thing with Snyder and anything Justice League. Anything Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman related, whenever Snyder puts his hands on it, it's like, whoa, like a heavenly trumpet comes flowing through, and you get hip hop by Jesus. I don't know. Crazy stuff happens whenever Scott Snyder puts his hands on anything Justice League. It's beautiful. Again, yeah, Dark Knight's death metal is so good. You can't miss it. You shouldn't miss it if you're a DC fan. Next is, this is DC Universe 1025, the Joker War Collateral Damage, and that is, of course, Batman Detective Comics. This is Tomasi, Rockefort, and Brown. Now, I will say, as somebody who is overly critical of art, this art in particular was not my jam. There is almost too gritty at points. It feels like, and maybe did Rockefort work on that Dead Planet with Red Hood? What was it called?
Oh God, Killer. I got it right here.
You got it right there. Deceased. Unkillables. Was it Rockefort on there?
No.
Okay. The art reminded me of that Deceased Unkillables, which was not my jam by any means. I don't know why. Flash 759 has a really good cover. Oh, it's a variant. Yeah, it's a variant. But it's like the art, not so much. The story, on the other hand, amazing. And while I will say I was a little critical of the art, by the end of the book, it kind of won me over. So it wasn't too terrible. This issue in particular centers around Batwoman, which I feel like Batwoman has not gotten enough love these days. And I think it's because that Batwoman show was written hideously. It was horrible, which is a shame because the actress they got to play her was perfect. But it was just not written so that Batwoman could be Batwoman, which is crap. I will say that Batwoman being center stage, I love Batwoman as a character. She's a soldier through and through. She at times will do things that Bruce can't do. And even though like she's a Bat family member, she definitely butts heads with Bruce Wayne all the time. Yep. And if you know her mythos, you know that's pretty much standard. So it was written perfect. This particular issue of Detective Comics, like written absolutely great. He's dealing with the Joker War stuff. Keep in mind, in mainline Batman, if you haven't read it yet, sorry, a little bit of spoiler, he's been doused with a new Joker toxin. So he's hearing Alfred's voice, but Alfred's not there. He's just hearing Alfred's voice, which is a very Moon Knight thing. Mm-hmm. I'm loving it, honestly, but I'm a huge Moon Knight fan too. So to see Batman get a little Moon Knight sort of feels right to me in a way. Yeah. Plus, I miss Alfred. Don't get me wrong. I love Lucius Fox in this role, but in a way, like Lucius Fox, he's a very good mentor at times. He's a very good inventor at times. But it's not, the father figure, which is who I miss. So it's nice to see. They didn't touch on that at all in this. I don't think he heard Alfred's voice once, but again, this issue in particular centers around Batwoman. And to see Batwoman belt out against a city of Jokers, which it's overrun. Like, Gotham is pretty much lost at this point. There are Joker drones flying around like destroying shit. Like Gotham, it is worse than City of Gotham Bane, which Gotham was lost then too. Yeah. It's much worse right now. So granted, like King's City of Bane was the most scared I think I've ever been as a Batman fan. The most scared, for sure. Yeah, you lost everything and everyone. So that was the most scared I've ever been. However, this particular moment, I can see that things are a bit more dire. Like, you have no idea where this is going to. At least with Bane, you know that his goal was breaking Batman's spirit, and you knew that. Yep. He was going to break his spirit. Like, that's what he was out to do. We have no other than reveal Bruce's identity to the world. We don't know what Joker is planning on doing here. We have no clue. And that is the biggest ticking time bomb in this story.
What's the final goal?
Yeah, we know that Bruce Wayne's going to be dimed out by the end of this. Like, we know that the world's going to find out who Batman is. But, like, what is going to happen with that? Like, aside from that, he can go anywhere. Whereas Bane's going to go with breaking Batman's spirit. So it's so good. Like,
Like he could literally kill himself at the end of this, and I would not be surprised.
Yeah. So both Batman and Detective Comics really are not to be missed. This issue in particular, I will say that if you've missed the Detective Comics with Batwoman, I missed the team that he put together at the very beginning of Rebirth, where it was Batwoman, it was Orphan, it was Spoiler, and the Signal.
No.
The Signal was in it. Yeah. I miss that whole team, and so it kind of feels like that team, sort of, just a little bit with Batwoman and Batman bumping heads. It feels right. So I definitely miss that. But if you're, I don't know, a lot of people have been paying more attention to the mainline Batman run than they have Detective Comics these days. So maybe that's not your jam. I would understand that, but I had a really good time with this issue, even being critical of the art, which. If something can, if I have issues with the art and I still like the story, it's pretty damn good. So I would say, again, Detective Comics, don't miss it. Don't miss it this week. Don't miss it at all. And that's kind of our show for this week. We didn't have a lot of DC titles, did we?
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah.
That was pretty much it. So okay. Yogi's back there with his mask on. I'm going to go put my mask on after this is finished because I am responsible, but I want my deaf community to be able to read my lips because my sign is not fast enough. So that's our show for this week. And, well, no, it's not because we got Marvel books tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're going to do another live video.
Yeah, so we'll do another live video tomorrow with our reviews. Our Marvel books and our Image books have not showed up yet. We're still waiting on them. We've got Baby Yodas. So if you want a Baby Yoda,
yeah, if you pre-ordered a Baby Yoda,
but we've got that. That shipment came in on time. Everything else, not so much.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see you tomorrow. But take care. Thanks for tuning us in for this week, and we will see you tomorrow. Do that. Okay, I gotta end this. Do you want to end stream?
Just in the nick of time.
Right. Who is this?